Once upon a time in a faraway land, there lived a young woman who was renowned for her beautiful dancing. One day, she was asked to perform at the royal palace. The king and queen, along with their daughter, the princess, were present at the show. As the dancer began to dance, the audience was mesmerized by her grace and elegance. However, just as she was about to execute a difficult spin, she froze. Her legs turned to lead, and she could not move a muscle. Fear had gripped her heart, squeezing it tightly like a vice. Her mind raced. What if I make a mistake? What if I fall and disgrace myself? What will people think of me? The audience was silent. They had never seen anything like this before. The princess, who was watching intently, felt a pang of sympathy for the dancer. She remembered a story her mother had once told her about a magical amulet that could be used only once and gave the wearer courage. The princess quickly got up from her seat and went backstage to look for the dancer. Meanwhile, the dancer was still frozen in fear, her eyes wide with terror. Suddenly, she felt a gentle touch on her shoulder. She turned around and saw the princess looking at her with kindness and concern. The dancer tried to speak, but no sound came out of her mouth. The princess, understanding that words could not help, took the dancer's hand and led her to a quiet room. Once they were alone, the princess took the amulet from her neck and handed it over to the dancer, saying, "This will give you courage. Please use it wisely." The dancer looked at the pendant and asked, "Will this really help?" The princess nodded, a determined look on her face. "It will if you believe it will," she said. The dancer took the pendant, closed her eyes, and put it around her neck. As she did so, she remembered the kind words of the princess and the supportive smiles of the king and queen. Taking a deep breath, she walked back onto the stage. The audience was still waiting, their faces a mixture of curiosity and amusement. Were even starting to whisper about the mysterious pendant. The dancer ignored them and focused on the music. She began to dance again, and this time, it was different. She was not as graceful or elegant, but there was something more in her movements, something raw and real. She danced from the heart, expressing all the emotions that had been frozen in her chest. Her movements were not perfect, but they were honest. She stumbled and fell, but quickly got up and kept going. She laughed and cried, and the audience responded with thunderous applause. They had never seen anyone dance like this before. It was as if the dancer was baring her soul to them, and they were moved by the courage it took to do so. When the music ended and the lights came up, the dancer took a bow. She knew that she had given it her all, and that was all that mattered. The king and queen were overjoyed. They saw the struggle in the dancer's eyes and appreciated the courage it took for her to keep going despite her fear. The princess, too, was proud of the dancer. She had shown that it was okay to be afraid, that fear did not mean that she had to give up. In fact, it meant that she had to try harder, that she had to embrace her vulnerability and turn it into strength. From that day on, the dancer continued to perform, always remembering the valuable lesson she had learned. She taught others that true courage was not about being fearless, but about doing what needed to be done, even when you are afraid. And whenever she felt fear creeping into her heart, she would close her eyes, dance from the heart, and let the music take over. For she knew that in doing so, she was not only honoring herself, but also the brave young girl who had shown her the way. That's all for today, friends. If you liked this story, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notified when we post new stories. Also, give us a thumbs up and share this video with your friends. Thank you for watching.